to do something that you can regret, and it could possibly get you 30 years in jail. It's absolutely wild. You may want to consider changing your attitude. I'm just being transparent. Oh God, I feel you taking me somewhere new, and in this new place, I'm going to need new habits and a new mindset. God, I feel you want me to learn how to control my mood and find emotional balance, because I feel in this next season it's going to be extremely important. God, I feel healing coming my way, love, solutions, blessings, and positive change. I'm going to work hard on me so I can be next in line to receive my blessings. Amen. It is so wow how when you make a decision and realize what your worth is, the universe and God will open many doors for you that you didn't even know that could be open. Here's how to start. Just changing one something can impact your life forever. If you want a new you in this year, you have to change your thinking. If you're willing to change, your thing will change. You ask, how do I do that? Well, let's find out. Are you ready to step into this new year? This is your chance. This is your time to change everything. Nothing will soon be the same. I'm claiming it. How about you? In this season, I'm going from waiting on it to walking in it. I'm declaring it. Doors are getting ready to open for me, and I won't even have to turn the knob. They're going to automatically open. Let's get started. Here are just a couple things that you can consider to change. 2190 rule is a powerful tool created for lasting habits and making meaningful changes in life. By committing to new behaviors for 21 days, continuing for 90 days, you can transform your habits and enhance your overall well-being. Start your journey today and see how the 2190 rule can help you achieve your goals. All you have to do is change one something and stick to it. Suggestively, beloved, here are just a few things to consider changing that can make a drastic impact not only on this year but your life. Another thing to consider changing, change your negative thinking. Negative thinking will lead to negative outcome. Conscious of your thoughts. As soon as you start thinking negative, stop yourself. Stop yourself from thinking negative, because you'll go down the tunnel and then it's hard to come back up. And once we're down that tunnel, all kinds of negative thinking will begin. Try to replace your negative thought with a grateful thought. Remember, no one is perfect. Instead of holding on to that negative thought, write it down. Put it on a piece of paper. Put it in an envelope. Seal it up and put it to the side. And don't think about it anymore. And when you feel like you've gotten over it, get rid of it. It no longer exists. And move on. That's it. If you're having a negative thought, breathe. Refrain from the thought. Be kind to yourself. And be grateful for all of the things that God has blessed you with. It'll take some practice, but it will get better. I would have the time management. What is time management? The ability to use one's time effectively and productively. There are so many benefits to having effective time management. Less stress, more balance, achieving goals, and many more doors open. I want to tell you a story. I don't remember the name of the movie, I just remember the scene of the movie. There was this man who owned a business. I want to say, I think it was an art studio or something like that. He ran into some hardship and he needed a lot of money. I want to say about $1 million. So he went to his friend's house and he was telling his friend that he needed to borrow the money. So he went to the friend's house and he asked him for the money. And the friend was nice enough to say yes, he will loan it to him. So give or take, I'm going to say this was on a Saturday that he went to his house. And he said that he would give him the money, let's say about Friday, coming up next Friday. The gentleman said, all I want you to do in return is invite me out to dinner with you and your family. Mind you, I think the man didn't have a family anymore. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe his wife passed or something like that. I'm not sure. But he said, in turn, I just would like for you to invite me out to have dinner with you and your family. He said, okay, no problem, right? Okay, so then the gentleman leaves. So when he leaves, I would say probably around Tuesday or Wednesday, the man called him back and he said, you know, did you ever get a chance to speak to your wife to set up arrangements for us all to go out to dinner? And he was like, oh no, you know what, I haven't had a chance to ask her, but I will ask her. Keep in mind, this man is in a bad financial way, and in order for him to get the money, he was only asked to do one thing, and that was to set up an arrangement for him and his wife to meet him for dinner. The reason why I'm saying this is related to time management is because he was busy doing everything else. He was busy running around when his most important job, his most important responsibility was to secure these funds so that he can continue to pay for his business, which in turn took care of him and his family and his livelihood. So if he thought that this was not that important for him to make the time to just go to dinner with this friend, he was getting ready to be in for a rude awakening. Let me tell you what happened next. So when Friday came, the gentleman went to his home. And the guy let him in, and he was nice and mannerful and polite. And he said, hey, how you doing? He said, I'm doing good. How's the family? Everybody's fine. So the gentleman is in such a hurry. You know, he took him into the office and he sat down and he asked him, did he want something to drink? He said, no, I'm fine. He was like, I really just want to pick the check up. He said, okay. So now the man is explaining to him, you know, all I asked was for you to invite me with your family out for dinner. In my mind, I'm thinking the reason why he was so adamant about wanting to go to dinner with him was because he wanted to just be around family atmosphere again. Like, because apparently with him not having a family for whatever the mishap was, he just wanted to be in the environment of a family. You know, it's a lot of things that money can't buy. You know, money can't buy time, money can't buy memories. It's a lot of things money can't buy. And as small as this was to him, it should have been big to the other man to make sure that he took care of it. Because you know what he told him? He said, I'm not going to be able to give you the check. Can you believe that? He told him he wasn't going to be able to give him the money because all he asked him to do was set up for them to go to dinner. So the whole moral of the story here in time management is you don't want to miss out on your opportunities. You don't want to miss out on being on time for something that's important. You know, a lot of times we think, oh, well, I'm used to being late and this person is used to me being late. You know, oh, girl, that's just how they are. They're going to be 5-10 minutes late. But we want to make it a habit to be on time, because when we're on time, matter of fact, don't even think about being on time. We want to be early. Being early is considered to being on time. If you get somewhere 10 to 15 minutes earlier, it gives you enough time for the unexpected stuff. For example, you may have a job interview and you need to be there at 12 o'clock. You really need to try to be there at 11:40, 11:45 at the latest, because what if there's an incident going on in the lobby and you can't get upstairs to the interviewer at 12 o'clock? What if there's parking that now requires you to pay? And most time, a lot of us don't carry cash on us. But because you were rushing out, all you did was bring your ID. You didn't bring your wallet or you didn't bring your purse. So now you don't have a way to be able to pay the machine for parking. So now you got to go around the corner and find somewhere to park. And then you come back to the interviewer. And you know what? You actually sit there in front of the interviewer and say, I had a rough time parking. I didn't bring my car. Honestly, they're running a business. That is none of their concern, and honestly, this is a first impression. So you being late doesn't sit well with them. They need someone that is going to be responsible, respectable, as well as reliable. So it's imperative to keep in mind and consider, young people. Beloved, keep in mind and consider coming earlier. The early bird gets the worm. I'm sure you heard that before. So being early is considered being on time. You don't want to miss out on your opportunities. There are a few time management techniques that you can use that could help you. You could write out a to-do list, or you could focus more on the 90-91 rule. If you want to look further into that, that means you're doing something for 90 days, 90 minutes, one specific task. There's also the motivation rapid planning method. You can look it up, okay? I didn't want to go into everything else because I wanted to stick more towards time management, one thing at a time. Like I said, I really do my best to break things down easy. As we can see, this is how we start. I'm actually going to go into the different vlogs that I've already created, and I'm going to put them in order: volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. So for anyone that is new to my vlog, they actually can go from there instead of starting from here. Even though this says start, how to start, beloved, even though this says how to start, I really do encourage you to go back to my previous vlog. This would be volume 4, so that we can start at the beginning and keep up from there. Change your boundaries. Boundaries are firm and respectful requests that sometimes we use for ourselves and others who are in our lives. No, boundaries are not set as a way to control. However, self-boundaries are set to have better control in our own lives. Boundaries help us to ask for what we want, and it helps us to be able to say no without having any guilt. Boundaries help for you to take responsibility of your own happiness. Do what's best for you, and know it's not your responsibility to sacrifice yourself for others. Change how you present yourself to the world. Beloved, don't trade your authenticity for approval, because your authenticity leads to your own happiness. Self-acceptance, self-respect. You feel more at home with yourself when you be your true, authentic self. Keep in mind, however you present yourself to the world is how they're going to respect you. Dress how you want to be addressed. If you dress like a lady, then they will address you like a lady. Some of us may have high sex appeal, but that doesn't mean that we can't still dress modest. You can dress modest, sexy, all at the same time. For example, you may be full-figured. Keep that in mind and keep modesty a part of your attire when you present yourself to the world. All I'm saying is, how you present yourself is how the world is going to treat you. If you present yourself as a modern, modest woman, then the world will treat you as a modest, modern woman. Consider changing your attitude. Why do I have to change my attitude? It's nothing wrong with me. You may want to consider changing your attitude. I'm just being transparent here. You may want to consider changing your attitude. Because if you know that your attitude is unacceptable, then others will see that your attitude is unacceptable as well. Sometimes we can actually miss out on huge blessings because we don't know how to correct ourselves. We have to learn how to self-correct ourselves. It don't take somebody else to tell you that you need to work on your attitude. You know that you need to correct it, so just correct it. That's it. You have to change your thinking. Attitude is a little thing that can make a huge impact on your career and your life. Positive attitude enables you to make a difference in the world around you. A positive attitude can lead to positive outcomes. And beloved, sometimes people will press your buttons and they know exactly how to press them. I have an example that I want you to see. I want you to keep in mind that, again, you want to be pleased with how you handle God's people, and you also want God to be pleased with you. So even though they may press your buttons, consider using the right words, because once you put the words into the universe, once you said the words to your loved one, you can't take them back, honey. You can never take them back. So for me, I'm just going to give you an example how I handle someone, a loved one, a friend, or someone that may be a little upset. And I know that I want to be pleased with how I handle them. I will use certain words like, that's interesting. When I use the word that's interesting, I'm going to show you an example, what that does and what that says to the person. Now that's just the word that I'm using as a safe word for me to make sure that whatever they're saying to me, I'm not allowing it to push me out of my character and put me in a place where I will regret what I said. Again, I can't take any of these words back once I've said them. So I use the word interesting. And here's a clip why. All you need to do is change one thing and stick with it. A lot of times we think we don't need to change anything because there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with the way that I've been doing things. But beloved, let's be honest. If you feel that there's nothing wrong with the way you've been doing things, then you should also be happy with the outcome. If we keep repeatedly doing the same things over and over again, we're going to keep getting the same outcome. So at some point we need to just say, I need to switch things up a bit and change something around. My attitude was making it hard for me to get to the next level because I was constantly blowing up on people. That could be one thing that you could change. You can go in and start doing different exercises to figure out how, when someone makes you upset, to not let them challenge you into reaching that version of yourself in anger that you don't desire to be. Here's a couple examples of how when someone is pressing your buttons and how even when you're receiving it, how to maintain a respectable level and demeanor. The response doesn't always have to be verbal or physical when it's something that you don't like. A response can also be a non-verbal response. For me, when someone dissatisfies me or displeases me and I don't like it, I'll say, I find that to be interesting. Because in my mind, I like to think 5 times before I respond. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you think 5 times before you bring the words out of your mouth. Now, some people may feel that I don't have time to do that. And I understand that. It's a discipline that has to be worked on. I'm not expecting, and you shouldn't expect you to be able to do it all at one time. Give yourself some grace, like I always say. The reason why I'm saying this 5 times to think before you respond, because the first response in your mind, in your thinking, is probably not going to go too well. It may come off in a negative way. The second response may not be just as negative as the fifth one, but it's still sitting in a negative way. A negative response that you find that you won't be pleased with later on. The third one is now starting to kind of simmer down, and it's making you feel like it could go either way. It could either make or break you and this person's relationship, friendship, or whatnot. But it still later on could burn and make you think about it to where you're like, you know what, I could have responded better. Now we're getting into the second thought. And in the second thought, it's getting close to the last one, the one that's actually going to come out of your mouth. So now we've already created in our heads what it is that we want to say that's still pleasing to ourselves. Now it's coming out. And again, like I always say, I want my words, I want my response to be pleasing to me and as well as to God. And in this case, I want it to also be respected by the other person. So instead of me going off, being all heated in the top of my head with an argument, I'm going to say, that was interesting. Now, to me, that was interesting represent that it was a mild offense. It wasn't that bad. It didn't really ruffle my feathers, as I say. It didn't really move me. But it may have bothered me a little bit, so that's why I found it to be interesting. Now, the next offense maybe is slightly a little bit more offensive coming from the person. And I really want to say something back to them. But again, I'm working on me. I'm a work in progress. And I'm really doing my best to change the way that I think and change my reality so that I can get a different outcome than the one that I got in 2024. But you really offended me. So I'm going to respond with, that was really interesting. And I'm going to maintain eye contact because I want them to feel that I was not pleased with how they handled me. I want them to know that I didn't care for the disrespectful words that they used. And I want them to see that I'm handling them with care and respect. Now let's say they decided that they wanted to go further with the disrespect. Now they're calling me all kinds of names, all in my face, making me feel like I really need to defend myself. And most of the times we'll go back and we'll rant and rave right back in each other's faces, and we'll say some displeasing things that later on we'll regret. But I'm maintaining my eye contact. I'm not going to let you make me be in the space that you in. So I'm going to say, that's extremely interesting. And then I'm going to walk away. It only takes 5 minutes to do something that you can regret. And it could possibly get you 30 years in jail. Beloved, the power of the tongue has the ability to heal and to kill. We have to be ever so careful with what we say to God's people. We have to be careful because we'll create things to happen that we do not wish to happen. Example, the one that I'm getting ready to speak about right now. Let us do our best to remember to argue in the best of manner. We are all on loan to each other from God. No one belongs to you. And understand that what you do, how you react, and what you do in a physical manner doesn't just affect you, it affects the loved ones that are around you as well. I pray the message that I've given you today is received and applied in some type of area within your life. There are a lot of good men that are incarcerated right now because they blew up in a 5-minute situation that made them do some unspeakable things that ended them up in jail for 30 years. And now they have to sit and wish and think in their mind, why didn't I just handle that better? There are a lot of situations that we wish that we could handle better, but it all comes to a level of maturity. As we grow and we get older, we either are going to grow and get older, or we're going to grow and get wiser and learn from our experiences how to handle things better. We have to discipline ourselves to handle people with care and argue in the best of manner. God and knowledge is one of our most powerful weapons. Knowledge of self gives you confidence. Knowledge of self produces self-love. Love for self causes you to do for self. Get what you need and use what you need, and the rest just throw it away. And now a moment for prayer. God, in your mighty, mighty name, amen. Beloved, as always, I'm so happy to have you here. I pray that you meet all of the different goals that you're acquiring. Do keep in mind, use some of these practices and stick to it. It will help you. It will work and benefit in the end. On the next vlog, I'm going to speak about disciplines. I hope to see you there. Blessings to you, beloved. Bye. Welcome back, beloved. Today I'm going to be making fresh pico de gallo. Now, I don't plan on using a jalapeno pepper because I don't like it spicy. I'm going to use 1.5 bunch of cilantro. I know that may be a lot, but that's up to you. If you like that much cilantro, then you can do it to whatever best fits you. I'm going to use some fresh romaine tomatoes, 1/2 of a white onion, a little bit of olive oil, fresh minced garlic, as well as I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper to my liking. Please enjoy. I'm going to put the tomatoes into the strainer and rinse them off because I don't like to have the mushy, gooey taste of the tomatoes. Now right here, I like to take a bowl with cold water, cut my onion open and place the onion into the water and let it sit for about 5 minutes. From me putting the onion into the cold water, now I'm able to cut it without tears running down my face. One thing about me when I'm cooking or making something, I enjoy just seeing all the different colors and the different flavors and the different ingredients coming together. I like to use my hand instead of a spoon, even though I have gloves on, so that I can mix and just see how the flavor and the robustness of the different vegetables come together, and it's just absolutely delicious. This is actually a snack that I make on a Monday that I'll eat throughout the week when I actually want something to snack on, because I'm telling you, I have decided that Little Debbie is not going to get my money this year. I meal prepped this early this morning, so it sat in the refrigerator until lunchtime at 12 o'clock, and this is how I plate it. And it actually helps me to be able to watch my portion sizes also. Blessings to you, beloved. Thank you for watching.